Hi everyone, apologies about the dead air there. We're having a lot of problems getting Wolfenstein to actually stream properly, so we're just restarting a checkpoint at the moment. Long load times on this game, I'm afraid. Really is a buggy mess as it stands today. So many apologies. We are trying to overcome some of these technical problems that we've got with the stream. Well, should I say with Wolfenstein being generally rather useless. And we will, hopefully get somewhere shortly. Oh look, the frame rate's gone to ass again. This is just remarkable, actually, absolutely remarkable. I have never seen a PC game with, quite frankly, so many problems at launch. We're apparently waiting on a day one patch, which is worth about 10 gig. Which will, presumably solve a lot of these problems. But essentially, the main issues we have at the moment is you can't live stream the game without outputting it to a separate PC, and unfortunately, it's just not working very well at all. It's quite remarkable they would release a game without the day one patch actually being available on Steam to fix these issues. It really is. Well, typical Bethesda, really. One of the worst companies around, if you ask me, for just generally shoving stuff out the door before it's actually ready. Let's see if we get any kind of frame rate we can work with here. No. I mean, this is absolutely atypical of what we're seeing on this game at the moment. Essentially, it's unplayable if you want to live stream it. So if you're using Wirecast, if you're using XSplit, either Game Center or Broadcaster, if you're using open source broadcasting software, OBS, you can't play this game. You can't play and live stream at the same time. Absolutely hopeless. It really is. We spent the last 3 hours trying to get this to work with various different combinations, and I was like, yay, I think we've managed to get it working. And of course, no. You can see here we're getting, what, 10 frames a second if we're lucky out of it. This isn't the PC. This is the game. This is the game that's causing all of these issues. It simply will not work properly or reliably. Absolutely remarkable balls up on Bethesda's part, if you ask me. So we're just going to let this carry on playing out for a bit, I think, so you can see, quite some of the technical issues they kind of have going here if you want to live stream it. It's just unworkable as it stands right now. Truly remarkable balls up. Let's actually, just for argument's sake, let's quit to the main menu, start a brand new game, and see what it does. Now, you can see the interface. The actual menu system is working nice and fluidly, for once. Previously, couldn't get it to work at all properly. It was lagging out just as badly as the game was there, you could see. So let's try a brand new, let's try a brand new game and see what we get. Some things I have noticed when we were just quickly testing the game before we attempted to do a live stream that didn't work. Audio dropout issues. At random, the audio just disappears and it never comes back. Frame rate dipping in places, but actually not too badly. I mean, the game is beautifully looking, seems to be very well executed and quite detailed, but the audio dropout issue, that's unexcusable. The problem is this game is using the Rage engine, and if you may remember, Rage was another game that was badly optimized when it was first released, especially for AMD graphics cards. Essentially, the game was just a buggy mess, and again, suffered from audio dropout issues. Funny that. Let's see, have we got a frame rate that's anywhere near stable here? No, have we, heck? That's just remarkable, really. One of the really comical things that I've noticed is when you actually start the game, you always have the kind of little blip bits for the game developers' brands, etc. Even those run at about 15 frames a second. They're just crawling along. So, unfortunately, guys, we're going to have to in this, I think, because basically the game is unplayable if you want to stream it at the same time right now. We're waiting on this patch for the PC. Whether that will fix any of these issues, I'm really not sure. But essentially at the moment, the game is just an absolute mess. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it before. It's just remarkable that as soon as you have any streaming software turned on, even if it's not actually tapping the DirectX API, this footage you're seeing here is actually looping out into a capture card, which has its own ability to process the video frames itself, doesn't have a major impact on CPU or RAM or anything like that, or the drives, and you know, it just doesn't seem to be able to maintain anything more than 15 frames a second at a struggle. Beautiful looking game, but unplayable if you want to stream it right now. It's truly strange. I'm going to try one thing quickly. I'm just going to swap an input over, but I don't think it's going to make a blind bit of difference. Hang on 1 second. This shouldn't make any difference whatsoever, but for argument's sake, let's just swap these over, see what we get. The image will have gone blank there for a moment, just waiting for my system to catch up this end. Let's see whether we get anything we can make use of. Right, what we got here then? It's a fraction better, but you can see the frame rate is still 20 frames a second at best. The only thing I've done there is on my hub, I've just switched the imports over for the HDMIs. Sometimes it can just reduce a little bit of the frame lag, but this isn't frame lag particularly, this is just broken. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to just go and capture footage offline. We won't be able to stream today by the looks of it, at least until they iron out whatever is causing this absurd problem. We'll be back probably later today with an initial first look review, obviously mentioning many of these issues. Absolutely absurd. Bethesda, you should be ashamed of yourselves releasing a game which doesn't actually work properly on PC. But just one other quick note, if you're an ATI Radeon owner, AMD graphics cards, you might want to avoid this game for now, because it's just buggy on AMD cards, really not working properly at all. So unfortunately guys, that is a look at Wolfenstein The New Order. It's broken, it's buggy, what can you do, eh? Hope for a patch, I suppose.